Good morning, friends. Oh, I'm so tired. Today's my day 5, and I'm in the early part of my day, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get through this. But tonight I will start my 34. It's kind of a dumb situation where I have to do my 34 tomorrow, and then the following day I'll be heading back toward home, so that'll probably end up being a short day. I am going to have my first doctor's appointment in over 10 years because for many years I did not have health insurance. It is the reality that we are dealing with, and it is very bleak. So the other thing I was going to talk about, which is also kind of controversial, even though it shouldn't be, is I was just having an interesting conversation. I'm waiting in line to get loaded. I have a few minutes to lay my head down, which is really nice. But I was talking to one of the employees here, and I come here a lot, and they're all really cool. I like talking to them. But we were talking about like traffic, and he was like, "You live in Chicago, right?" And I told him, "Yeah." And he was like, "Yeah, I go there sometimes for Cubs games because where we're at right now is not super far from Chicago by any means. It's a couple hours away." He was saying, I don't know, honestly, like he was one of the people I run into. This is a rare case when you're in a more rural location. That was 2 tough words in one sentence. Rarer and rural. Oh man, I'm on a roll this morning. My coffee is still active. My caffeine is still caffeining in my system. Usually when you run into people in anywhere that's not Chicago, people say something snarky when you tell them that you live in Chicago that is often, like, honestly, I usually brush it off, but it's very irritating and insulting because I don't hear you tell me where you live and then immediately say something rude about it. That's not cool, especially if you haven't spent time in a place and you don't know the people that live in that place. It's really not appropriate to immediately like diss someone's home when they tell you where they're from. I wouldn't do that to you. Don't do that to me is my answer on that. But we were talking about the traffic and the intensity of the traffic, and the thing that's wild that I was going to get to in the beginning of this whole long 6-minute and counting little chat is what's so crazy is thinking about how far I've come in such a short time. And I was in culinary school in downtown Chicago in 2010, which was very intimidating to even have to go downtown, but I also was stoked. My ex-husband and I used to love coming into the city to see shows, and like we used to go do art, go see art shows and stuff because we were both artists. That's how we met, and creatives in general, music lovers. And I never drove. When we would go to the city from our suburban home that was a couple of hours away or an hour and a half or whatever, I would never drive because it was just like sort of embedded in my brain that was like not my role. We were very like in that sort of, without even thinking about it or talking about it, it was just like what we did. And that kind of speaks to the fact that things are changing slowly over time, but like so many people I think fell into sort of traditional roles without really intending to. It was just sort of like the way we did things because it's the way our parents did things and stuff. There's some obviously really strong feelings about that in the world right now, but like to me the best thing to do is just like not worry too much about it and do you. That's why I love seeing there's a lot of women in trucking, and I love to see that. But what's wild is when I started culinary school, I guess it was a year into culinary school, I want to say, I had to get a new car, and I decided I really wanted a stick shift because I love driving a manual transmission car. I still do, even though my new car is not manual and I wish it was, but these days it's hard to get a manual that's not like super overpriced, and it's really stupid. They've become so niche, which is too bad. I think more people would be better drivers if they drove a manual because it forces you to be more engaged with the vehicle, and it enhances the driving experience in a way that makes you want to focus more on the driving experience and less on the distractions like your phone. But anyway, I learned how to drive a manual in downtown Chicago rush hour traffic, basically, is the long story short. And then that led me to like years down the road realizing that I really wanted to do jobs that involved driving, and I started delivering furniture, driving Sprinter vans in Chicago, and then I got my CDL. And I haven't done much truck driving in Chicago. I love driving in my car through the city even when there's traffic, just because I love seeing the city. I love the skyline. I love the murals. I love so much about it. I love driving on Lakeshore, which is not there's no trucks allowed, so it is still chaotic, but I love driving my car there and seeing the lake from my car and the skyscrapers. And Chicago is a beautiful city, but yeah, the traffic is a stress fest. But like to think that there was a time when I wouldn't even do the driving downtown because it's like, well, that's the guy's thing, you know. And now it's like, I'm driving the semi, I'm hauling a fuel truck. Like, it just goes to show, the long story short, I've said that already once and now it's becoming too long of a story, but if you enjoy doing things like that, but you're like, it's not something you've been doing already and it's out of your comfort zone, don't like think you can't do it. Sure you can. Do you want to do it? Does it excite you to think about it? Then pursue it. Why not? Who cares? Whatever your identity is, that doesn't have to limit you. And also what I would say is you would be surprised. A lot of people would feel apprehensive about getting into like the trucking environment because they are afraid that the existing people in this environment are gonna not accept you for whatever your like identity orientation might be. And I want to tell you that there are so many people out here who don't really care about any of that. If you do your job well and you have a good attitude and you work hard, they're not going to care at all. Sure, there's plenty of people that are like, they're going to have an attitude off the bat. You're going to see that, but that's not really going to affect you. Are you doing your job? Are you good at it? Are you being cool on the road? Are you taking care of your business? Then you're good. That's my message to you. Don't let your concerns about like our polarized dickhead society problems, don't let that keep you from chasing your dreams, man. It's not as bad in the real world when you are face to face with real people as our very fractured, very stupid social media landscape and media landscape in general would have you believe. People make a lot of money off of making other people scared, and you don't have to fall prey to that. That's my set of random PSAs for today. My hands are numb because I'm holding my phone up and I have carpal tunnel and it sucks. So that's what I got for you today. I hope you're all having a good day. I'll catch you later. Back of my paddleboard on Lake Michigan. This is my first time on the board all year, which is kind of bums me out, and the reason why, aside from the fact that my schedule is so grueling and I'm not home very much, is that I have persistent carpal tunnel, which I'm feeling now on my right hand because of the way I'm holding the phone, but it's normally pretty bad in my left hand. It's been going on for a really long time. It's one of those things that gets worse at different times, and the more I drive, the worse it is because of driving posture and gripping the wheel for long periods of time. I will deal with it at some point. I'm like slowly rotating in a circle here. But I'm out on the lake. I wasn't even planning to come out here today, but I went to the beach, which I live right next to it, and I am kind of a jerk this time of year. I feel very possessive of our little neighborhood beach because most of the time it's just the people that live like right by the beach. It's pretty quiet and you see the same people all the time with their dogs and stuff, but this time of year people come from farther away. A lot of them leave garbage behind. It's chaotic, it's a lot more people, it's noisy, and I like it when it's a little more mellow. So I'm like, these people need to go away. And then there's all these college kids because I live by two different major, universities. So I was like, you know what, let me just Right off onto the lake, away from all the people. How about that? The water's flat, no reason not to. But I digress. I am just so grateful to be out here. It's such a peaceful place. I mean, look at this. It's just magnificent. It's awesome when it's a cloudy day. The sun isn't beating down. It's still really warm and humid. It's in the I don't know, it's in the mid 70s right now, I want to say. So this is a wonderful way to start my day with some much needed exercise, and I'm just so grateful to be here. Back out on another paddleboarding sesh, and I paddled down to Hollywood Beach. I don't know how far it is, a couple of miles away, but when you're measuring distance on the water, there's my board right there. When you're measuring distance on the water, it's always hard to tell how far it actually is. But yeah, my carpal tunnel is carpal tunneling real bad today, so that sucks. But and this is what I was talking about with my whole covering up my face deal. But yeah, it's an absolutely gorgeous day, so I am grateful to be out here once again. Hello from the beach, and I'm about to head back to the truck in a couple of minutes. No, I'm heading to the beach right now to do what I think of as the old Lake Michigan baptism, which is just a quick little dip, and the water's not that cold right now. It's actually what I think of as warm. It's like 70 something. It's been a good but short, it's been a normal length home time, 3 days. But it feels short. It went by kind of quick. I had a lot to do, but I got to see some friends. I got to take care of some stuff that needed taken care of. And every time it's just really it's hard to leave. It's hard to go back to the truck. I always go back later than I should. It's currently around it's getting close to 4:30, I want to say. And I really should leave by 5, but I'm not going to get out till closer to 6 probably by the time I get on the road. But check it. Do you know how hard it is to leave to go back to being on the road when you live right next to the beach and it's summertime? It is hard. This is my second time today coming here. I have fresh tattooing, so I can't get that in the water because that's really unsafe. So I have to keep my right arm totally out of the water. It's a touch up on an existing tattoo that's about 10 years old, so it's really exciting to see it. It's looking really gorgeous. But yeah, just taking a quick little dip. I'm gonna take a quick shower, get my stuff together, head back to the truck. I'm always happy to see the truck again though. I'm like, hi truck. It's my home, it's my home away from home, my little home. So that's what we're doing. Catch you later. Hello, little microwave video. You can't tell, but you're in the microwave. I just have it on the tripod because I'm trying to minimize the sound of vibration and the actual vibration of the phone when it's sitting in the microwave. If you're watching this and you're new to my channel, I have a long history of putting my phone in the microwave and taking videos like that because I like to do that. It's a good height. It's just easy to do other stuff while I'm filming. I always want to film stuff, but I've just been too demotivated from filming lately because there's stuff that I wish I could show that I can't, and then also just my schedule. You've heard my spiel, but I'm just going to give you a couple of things real quick. I'm going to tell you one not cool thing that happened today and 2 cool things. So the not cool thing, I'll get that out of the way first, is you guys know me well enough by now, those of you who've been following me, that there are certain things that really grind my gears. And I was just walking out to take a shower at the end of a long day, and I see a guy with his dog. We're at a Love's that has a pond, and they're next to the pond, and the dog's taking a shit, and the guy is just standing there looking down at his phone, but definitely knows his dog took a shit. Like, it wasn't a kind of thing where he didn't notice, and just walks away, just starts to walk away. And I could not help myself, which I have to. Unfortunately, I have to be able to, like, not always be approaching people in these situations. And I just said, hey, excuse me. I was like, your dog just pooped. I was like, and he pretended he couldn't hear me, and he goes like this, and I was like, your dog just pooped. There's bags inside the store. I know this guy knows. And it's just like so awkward. And then he can't pretend he doesn't hear me at that point. Like, he definitely hears me, but he does this weird thing as if he doesn't speak English or some shit, which he definitely does. And it's one of those situations where I was like, oh, you can't pick it. That's what I said to him. I was like, oh, you can't pick it up? You're too weak? Okay, guy, good job. I just walked away. And like, I felt so mad at the situation and at myself, because I was like, oh, you know that thing where you walk away and you're like thinking of all the things you should have said. And I wish I had said to him, I wish I had walked a little closer to him and said, you know, you're the reason why there's such a limit on truck parking. There is one parking space for every like 11 truck drivers on the road, and it has everything to do with people like you who ruin truck stops. Like, you know, this is the same guy that dumps piss bottles on the side of the highway and shit like that. And it's just, oh, it really burns me, man. It really burns me. But that's all I'm going to say about that, except to say that after I walked away, I don't think he noticed me coming out of my truck, but I was like, oh, I can't. Number one, people be crazy, and you don't know if they're going to do some weird shit to your truck because they're mad at you or something. But also, I work for Loves, so I have to be careful. I can't go off on them like I want to. I don't usually swear this much in videos either. I've got a little more polite these days, but no, that guy. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. That's enough for today. Okay, let's talk about good things. So the good things are, had this really sweet moment earlier today that absolutely made my day, where I had just finished unloading, actually the same store I'm at right now. It was like the middle of the day, and as soon as I was walking out of the store with my paperwork and stuff, I saw that a tour bus had just pulled in and it was unloading, and all these people are going in, and I was like, whew, dodge that bullet, you know. It's that time of year. So I start to pull out, and a lot of the places I deliver to, like if you notice where the fuel drops are, a lot of times you have to pull through the car parking area to get out. So I have to do that at this particular store, and as I was pulling out, I was like, oh, it's a little tight over there, but I can get around it. So I'm very slowly easing my way around it, knowing that there's random people, someone's dog could run out, whatever. So as I'm pulling around, there's like the tour bus, and there's a big ass RV that's hooked up to a big pickup truck and stuff. I see a lady kind of standing like, 6 feet away from, basically she's standing in my path, and she's kind of zoning out, taking a break from being on the bus, and I just beep to let her know I'm coming, and she sees me and she walks over to get out of the way. But as she's doing that, she sees me, and she's this older lady with like short silver hair, and she gets this huge smile on her face, and then she like motions to her other older lady friends that are all standing outside the bus, and they all like start looking at me, and they say something, but I couldn't really pay attention to them because there's a driveway on the other side of me that I have to watch. So I'm kind of like paying attention to everything, being very slow and careful, obviously. But they were just like so clearly tickled that there was a woman driving the truck, and it made my day. They were just like, they said something, and I was like waving at them. It was one of those beautiful moments that is so validating, and I especially love when I get that reaction from older women, because I know that they understand the significance of women doing stuff like this, and they appreciate it, and it makes me feel great. So that was awesome. That was like a real highlight of my day. The other good thing that happened today is I just the other day saw a doctor for the first time in over 10 years, which I know sounds crazy, but I didn't have health insurance for a really long time, and then I did at multiple trucking jobs now have health insurance, but because I kept changing jobs not long after the insurance kicked in, or I was just working in a way that I didn't feel like I had time to take time off, I never utilized any of the health insurance at those jobs. Well, now I was like, I know I'm going to stay at this job for a long time, hopefully, and as long as I don't be confronting any crazy jerks in the lot. Anyway, I was like, let me start dealing with this. Like, I'm in my mid 40s. I have to pay attention to certain things with my health. I can't just keep blowing it off. So long story short is I got blood work and all that stuff, and I'm healthy as a horse, man. I'm so healthy, and it makes me feel great to know that. But also I just wanted to, it's kind of a weird thing to share as it's personal, but I wanted to share it because I think I'm good evidence of the fact that you can, even with a very unfortunately unhealthily low level of physical activity, which is just a fact with the type of job that I have and the way trucking is for many people. I definitely don't get a healthy amount of physical activity. I don't. The steps per day is horrible. It's maybe like 2,000 or something crazy like that, when back in the day it would have been like 20,000. But if you are diligent about trying to get as much healthy food in as possible, not eating a ton of fast food, drinking lots of water, staying well hydrated, getting physical activity when you are able. My biggest health issue, I think, is lack of sleep. That's going to catch up to me. I have to deal with it at some point. But I just want to share that. It was encouraging to me, and I just want to share that message to other people that if you're trucking and you're not getting enough physical activity, I know it's really hard and it feels, or if you're someone who is not in the best of health, don't underestimate the value of small changes and small gradual change. Part of the reason I want to share that is because I have been extremely unhealthy at times in my life with my habits. Heavy smoker, real heavy smoker at certain times, heavy drinker, depression, which is a negative health marker on its own. And I've worked really hard and I've sought support from others to help me get through all of that stuff and change my lifestyle in ways that have benefited me a lot. And the proof is in the test results. So I just want to share that. Okay, that's my story for today. And I hope you guys are doing well, and hopefully I'll get this out to you before 2 weeks go by. And I love you guys, and I'll catch you later.